the quiet heart beats low. No clash, no roar, just silence. In the shadows, battles won. I see through foggy veils, no swords to raise, no cries to wail. Victory's touching ghostly hue. Darkness glows a pale blue. Silent shadows trace the ground. In this silence we are bound. Greatest victory found with ease. No need to fight, no need to cease. Creeping through the twisted wood, echoes shards where warriors stood. Just a breath, just a wish. No more war, no final fist. Wisdom whispers in the night. Strength in peace, no need to fight. Witness walk in soft embrace. No battle scars, no deadly taste. Silent shadows trace the ground. In this silence we are bound. Greatest victory found with ease. No need to fight, no need to cease. Silent shadows trace the ground. In this silence we are bound. Greatest victory found with ease. No need to fight, no need to cease.
Whispers in the dead night fire, broken dreams and twisted wire. Darkness feeds on fear's desire, shadows creep, the flames grow higher. Moonlit graves and evil schemes, fighting phantoms, haunting dreams. Echoes of forgotten screams, horror not as it all seems. Battle cries and blackened void, demons that I once enjoyed. Now a strength they can't avoid. Living past I'm forced to destroy. I suppose the blood they crave, spirits risen from the grave, clawing beasts, the souls they save. I'll be fighting till I cave. Monsters hiding in my fears, bloody masks and deadly leers, fending off the painful jeers. Victory drowning in my tears. Battle cries and blackened void, demons that I once enjoyed. Now a strength they can't avoid. Living past, I'm forced to destroy. 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 Moonlit graves and evil schemes, fighting phantoms, haunting dreams. Echoes of forgotten screams, horror not as it all seems. Battle cries and blackened void, demons that I once enjoyed. Now a strength they can't avoid. Living past, I'm forced to destroy. To destroy. To destroy. To destroy. To destroy. To destroy.
Shadows crawl from the grave, whisper secrets dark and brave. Eyes that pierce into the night. Monsters come, we must fight. Candles flicker, casting dread. Ghostly wails fill my head.
everybody. Welcome to another Monday, another game design and discussion stream. Welcome to yet another technical oopsie. Give me a moment. Nope. Hold, please. What the hell? One moment. Hey, there we go. Alright, sorry about that. Technical issues are fucking awesome, aren't they? And one moment. Let me... There we go. Because that's what everybody's here to see, is my face. Alright, so, as a reminder, tomorrow we will not be doing Bitey's Breaks. I will be going to Great Escape on the Lake at the Wyatt Watson's Woods in Corning, New York. Which, give me just one moment. If you're interested, there is a link to the Facebook group. I will be hosting games there every evening. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday afternoon. Yeah. Yes, I will be hosting an Exalted Mage the Ascension mashup, specifically designed for new players. Yes. No. Also, welcome to the stream time. Good to see you again, my man. So, for those of you not familiar, Exalted and Mage the Ascension are both games made by, right now, by Paradox. They're part of the World of Darkness, Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, that line of games. And Mage the Ascension and Exalted are notorious for not being newbie friendly. Yeah. If you ever get a chance, Path of Night podcast does a really good, multi-splat. Meaning, one of their characters is a werewolf, one of their characters is a wraith, one of their characters... Basically, every character, two of them are brothers, so they're the same splat, but most of the characters are all from a different game line in that same system. And, like, every fifth sentence from the storyteller is, now normally this power would do this, but this is kind of a weird corner case. Like, the whole fucking thing is a weird corner case, dude. Oh, it absolutely shouldn't be. Look, an important thing to remember, and I'm gonna show my age a little bit here. I don't know how much the terminology I'm going to use is still in vogue amongst the kiddos. Fuck. But when I was growing up, tabletop RPGs basically fell into one of two categories. You had your crunchy style games, which were your D&D style, OGL style games, right? Those were the games where if I wanted to fire a while standing on 1 foot, 3 feet above my enemy, using my right foot to balance and my left foot to pull back, right? Like, insane shit. There's a rule for it somewhere. That's a crunchy style game. By contrast, and the reason they're crunchy is because D&D and the like evolved from wargaming. So that's its background, right? A bunch of dudes with miniatures. The basic premise was, what if rather than controlling a squad or an army, you controlled one dude, but you could customize absolutely everything about that one dude? That was basically the starting premise behind Dungeons and Dragons and all of its offshoots. By contrast, excuse me, that is not the contrast. Ah, sorry about that. But by contrast, World of Darkness and games like it were soft game systems. And by that, they were very narrative focused. Rule of Cool was everything in these systems. White Wolf, the company behind Vampire the Masquerade, initially started everything as a writing project. So World of Darkness very much comes from that narrative background. A lot of social intrigue, a lot of investigation, a lot of storytelling, more than just straight, let's shank the goblin. I mean, if we're talking 5th edition, we're not wrong. And I swear, I don't just hate on games that are 5th edition. Whether it's D&D and Vampire... 5th edition Vampire does a lot of good things. They also do some things that, while I don't like them, I see where they were coming from, and I understand the purpose behind it. And I can even agree that it's a good purpose, even if I don't like the implementation. The change in hunger mechanics, for example, it's very divisive. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't like the way it was implemented, but I love the idea behind it. For me, certain things in a tabletop RPG should be randomized. There should be an element of chance to it. Other things shouldn't be. And I think they went too far with 5th edition. What the hell? In for a penny, in for a rant. Prior to 5th edition, you're a vampire, right? Vampire the Masquerade. Of all the World of Darkness games, Vampire is the flagship title. Whenever they start a new edition, it's always Vampire first, and then the others coalesce around it. I mean, I've been a DM for like 30 years now at this point, which hurts in my soul to fucking say. But there is way too much winging it. I'm not quite Toriyama bad levels of winging it, but I do wing it quite a bit. And we will get to the convention prep. I've already done most of it, thank God. What we're going to be doing tonight is basically going through the character sheets and typing up the things you should know and how to play your character. Hey, Noel, welcome to the stream. How you been doing? Good to see you again. Alright, that pause in the music for a second made me think I lost my internet. It's like, oh shit. So, Vampire the Masquerade, prior to V5, you're a vampire, right? So drinking blood, your hunger is a key part of the game. And every vampire had what was known as the beast. And it's basically that corrupted part of you that pushes for you to not be human anymore. And the basic idea behind Vampire the Masquerade is that you're trying to maintain your humanity in the face of this beast. Cool. I'm down, let's do it. And the beast manifests in different ways for every character, blah blah blah. So, you know what V5 reminds me of? Final Fantasy VIII. If you've heard my rant about Junction and Draw, it's a similar rant for V5's hunger mechanic. So, I'm right there with you. I am operating on caffeine and spite at this point. But prior to V5, you had a blood pool. For high generation, read low level vampires, you had up to 10 points. Special abilities would take a point. Every day you woke up would take a point. If you let it get too low, you risked frenzying, you risked killing people, you risk losing humanity. If your humanity got too low, the beast would take over and you'd become an unplayable NPC. So that was earlier editions. In V5, they introduced Bestial Die. So storyteller systems always operate off D10s. Right? If you have a strength of 5 and a melee of 5, the DC is set at whatever it is, typically 6 or 7. You gather up 5 dice for your to represent your strength, 5 dice to represent your melee skill. You shake them all together and fucking roll them. And then every die that shows a 7 or higher is a success. That's the storyteller system in a nutshell. Whether we're talking vampire, werewolf, changeling, mage, whatever. That's the storyteller system. Add your dice together, or add your dots together, that's how many dice you roll. Every die shows over the DC is a success. Cool. Simple, easy, good to go. It's the game of rolling 30,000 dice. But in V5, they introduced this idea where you no longer had a blood pool. Instead, whenever you use special abilities, certain special abilities, you had to make a hunger check. If you failed, you would replace some of your dice in that dice pool with a hunger die. And if the hunger die came up when you rolled as a success, you would get what was known as a messy critical, where your beast took over for a split second. And you succeeded, but in a bad way usually. So if you're trying to knock out this guard and you got a messy critical, your claws extended for a fraction of a second as your beast exerted its influence and you accidentally gouged out his throat rather than knocking him out. I love that idea narratively. Absolutely love it. I'm fucking down, right? Like, that's cool as hell. That's great. The problem is, by taking away blood points and instead having it be hunger checks, where you're not guaranteed to spend a blood every time you use an ability, it very much makes it hard to calculate. Um, spendable resources should never, in my opinion, be randomized like that. You use them or you don't. It's extremely hard to plan when you don't know if something's going to be expended. And what often happens, especially with newer players, is they just say fuck it and they go into hoarding mode. We've all played JRPGs back in the day. We all know that we always end up hoarding 99 potions, 99 high potions, 99 X potions, 99 elixirs, blah blah blah. That's what happens in my experience, especially with newer players. Very nice. Do you have a link, Noel? Feel free to share it in chat. We'll link to it. Send some people your way. At least send myself your way. Always up to support the community. But I am done ranting about V5. I am not done ranting in general. This is how I cope. So, hold please. Absolutely. So, Engiomorphs, this is what you're working on? Or is this the series itself? I mean, I'm gonna follow regardless. So... Alright, the Magician 3. Burning Air, Dispelling Stance, and Overload. Okay. Copy and paste. Okay, enigmorphs. Alright. Alright, and this is based off knowledge. She is a specialist in knowledge, so we're gonna delete. Two D12. This is mental acuity plus knowledge. So, mental acuity plus knowledge. Alright. Stance lasts a number of rounds equal to your resolve. Mental acuity plus craft, again 6 plus 2, so that's 8. Time isn't wrong. So scope creep, basically, it's like power creep, how things slowly increase in power over time to the point where it's drastically out of control. Scope creep. You start out doing A, but then you realize in order to do A, you have to do B, but in order to do B, you also have to do C and D, and then you also have to do E, etc. Scope creep. I just plan to clean my room, but in order to clean my room, I really have to do some dishes because I have to bring some dishes down. But if I want to do some dishes, I also have to clean out the strainer. But before I do that, I got to take the garbage out, etc. Yeah, that kind of shit. Right. Alright, and now merits. What were my merits? Alright, battle analysis. Alright, this is based off leadership. How is her leadership? Rookie. Mental acuity was 6, right? Yes. Funds Raiser. Persuasion. Specialist. Alright, we got fundraiser, we got claimed by the family, political influence. And this is based off persuasion, which again is a specialist. So, And Starlight trained. And now mind over matter. Alright. And now playstyle. Okay, so now let's look at some of the maneuvers and other skill actions that we're going to copy over that our librarian Eleanor will be good at. So tell you what, let me move it over here so that y'all can see it as well. So again, something important to remember when we're talking maneuvers, when you're looking at tags, you'll see maneuver, or you'll see where is one. Attack. So if it has the attack tag, that means it is an attack, and the multiple attack penalty will apply to it. So maneuvers are unique in that this penalty does not apply. So maneuvers are what you want to do basically to use up your actions, apply penalties, gain buffs, and basically make combat more dynamic rather than just standing in a row and shooting at each other. So, for example, our librarian does not have a high ferocity at all, and they don't have a high firearm skill at all. So if they're trying to just shoot somebody, they're rolling 2d12 plus 4. That's really swingy. By comparison, if they're trying to distract their opponent, it's mental acuity plus the weapon skill versus their resolve plus weapon skill. That's much easier for you, or for this character. Instead, you're looking at an 8 rather than a 4 as your bonus. And then because yep, they are just a rookie, so we can delete these. So, looking at the other maneuvers, distract is obviously a really good one. Alright. I like that idea, Noel. It's been a while since I played it. It's been a solid 20 years since I played it. You may want to look at, I believe it was the D20 version of Big Eyes Small Mouth, Bessem, for ideas. I know one of the classes was a Pokemon trainer. Legally distinct Pokemon trainer. You may want to look at what they did for ideas. I don't remember. I had a player play one, but I can't remember anything about their character. Probably for good reason. Bessem, Big Eyes Small Mouth, if you've never played, is very... It's kind of like D&D 3.5 in the sense that D&D 3.5 was notorious for certain books were just way outside the power level of other books. So as long as everybody sat down and agreed, all right, we're all playing characters from the Psionics Handbook, or none of us are, or we're all playing characters from Tome of Battle, or none of us are, it works out fine. Bessem was the same way. If everybody sits down and you all agree that you're gonna keep it to a respectable power level and you're not gonna min-max and you're gonna be nice to each other, then the game flows well. But if one player decides, you know what? Fuck all of you. I'ma have fun. That player wins. And that's not a term I like using with tabletop RPGs. But Bessem was kinda notorious for that shit. Agility. Now agility sucks. Grapple, absolutely not. Striking blow, no. Impairing hit, yes. Impairing hit is actually really good because it does damage equal to your mental acuity rather than the weapon's damage. Now, with a character that's gone all out with their weapon, the difference is not in the mental acuity's favor. But for this character, yeah. Alright, and looking through. Gut shot, no. Set shield, jury rigged weapon. Yeah? Yeah, let's look at jury rigged weapon. And then skills. Okay. now. Let's go to book TOC. Do they have any ranks in athletics? No. Demolitions? No. So the name of the game is Big Eyes Small Mouth, or Bessum. It's, again, it's one of those games where I played it for years. The first couple editions were 3d6, maybe 2d6. I'm blanking on which version, but the initial versions used d6, and then in the late 90s, early 2000s, when D&D 3.x had its blow up, they made an OGL version, and that was D20. The D20 version is much clunkier than earlier versions. Bessum has always had a problem where it's the anime-based game, right? The problem is it tried to combine too many different anime archetypes into the core rulebook rather than leaving them off for others. And they tried to balance them, and you just can't. So okay, that's interesting. But no, for example, in the D20 Bessum core rulebook, when I ran it, my initial party was a samurai based off Rurouni Kenshin that we nicknamed Speedster Jesus because he took super speed to where he could run at Mach fuck you, and he took water walking. And he learned very quickly that you don't run through a forest and look behind you. That leads to ouchies. We had a spellcaster based off Witchblade. We had a Pokemon trainer. We had a half-angel mech pilot with the harem flaw. We had... Oh god, I'm forgetting. We had a werewolf adventurer. An adventurer was basically the Bessum answer to 3.5's version of fighter, where you didn't get any unique class features. Instead, you just got more points to make your character however the hell you wanted. It's interesting. However, as a crunchy system, it doesn't work. The initial version of Bessum was much more of a soft system, right? It was very narrative-based. One of the unique abilities you could pick was literally called Unique Magic Power. What does it do? Sit down with the DM. Figure it out. I'm not joking. That's what the ability said. It's intriguing. It's great. Again, if everybody is on the same page and you all have ideas and you all agree to work together, it's beautiful. But if one motherfucker Besides, that another party member needs to learn some humility. Somebody's going to learn some humility. It's really easy to make busted, overpowered characters in that system. Like if you're doing point-based, it's very easy for like 3 players to walk in with 15 to 20 point high power level characters at level 1, and then one person to walk in with a 300 point character at level 1. You gotta be careful with Bessem. Great for ideas. But anyway, to get back onto my game, so we've got this. Alright, we're going to insert a page break. And 0 characters. Next up is the Melee Medic. Yes, Bessem is really emblematic, of that kind of 90s era good idea, but game. Same with World of Darkness, actually. A lot of good ideas, a lot of interesting ideas. But again, if you can find the right group, I highly recommend it. It's amazing. It's great. I love it. It's a wonderful game. Know what you're getting into. Alright, for our melee medic, we've got the Lovers 2. We got Grace of Love and None Shall Keep Us Apart. Alright, empathy is our primary driver. We are still a rookie in it. Okay. So, resolve plus empathy. Resolve of 3, empathy of 1, 2d12 plus 4 versus endurance plus evasiveness. Cool. And then the other one was Grace of Love. And this is based off evasiveness, which is again rookie. Now let's look at merits. Alright, free runner. This is based off athletics. Rookie. Field medicine. This is based off heal. Specialist. Alright. Endurance training. Again, this is based off athletics. So we will leave that in specifically because that is for the new players. Let there be life. This is based off knowledge, which again, rookie. Alright, resolve plus knowledge. Resolve is 3, knowledge is 1. Alright, guys, 5-minute break. I will be right back. I am back. Sorry about that, everybody. Alright, playstyle. Alright. So with our melee, 3. How is our mental acuity? It's actually not bad. But our knowledge sucks, so... Our agility is not great, so we're going to avoid the knock free. We don't use unarmed. Right, mental acuity 3. Melee is 3. Oh, hell. One moment, all. Alright, just a heads up for my listeners. If you are in upstate New York, Pennsylvania, that area, go to airnow.gov and check your air quality alert. My area, apparently Canada is on fire again, and there's a lot of smoke and haze in the air. It's not as bad as the other year, but it's very much in that unhealthy range. So, just a heads up. Safety first, right? First aid. Because they have field medicine. Heals 3 stamina. Alright. I am going to continue this in the morning. It is late. I am going to crash, I think. Again, thank you everybody who stopped by and hung out. It was good seeing you. Our streams will not continue for the rest of the week. Next week we will be back on our normal schedule, and we will be at Great Escape on the Lake. So, y'all take care, be safe, and I will see you next time.